Hey, this is Pizza Dude Man, back for more answers to your guys' questions. Our first question today is from the Smashmaster 9000. Ever play Overwatch? If so, who's your favorite character? This is going to be a short answer. No, I have not played Overwatch. I don't have a console that plays Overwatch, and I'm always very wary of putting games on my computer simply because I eat up so much space on my computer with videos and stuff. So I never got around to playing Overwatch. I do know that, anyway, that Rune really likes the Gorilla character, and that's about as much as I know. Ridley Crade 187 asks, what makes a good villain in your eyes? Do you gravitate more towards the comedic goofballs, the lawfully serious ones, or the flat-out creepy sociopathic monsters? For me, what makes a good villain more than anything, because they can have any one of those personalities, and as long as those personalities are portrayed well, they're good. I think the thing that makes a villain are their motivations. Villains become boring if their motivation is just, I'm evil and I want to take over the world. Like, why? What's the reason you want to do this? And all the examples, I didn't list them all off, but all the examples that you gave in your questions are examples of really good villains. Like, taking Ganondorf, for example, it'd be really easy to just make Ganondorf like, I want the Triforce of Power and take over the world, and it would make sense for the lore of Zelda, but they don't stop it there. They're like, oh, Ganondorf is upset because his desert people are oppressed, and they actually make up all this stuff that's like, wow, that actually gives a really good insight to why Ganondorf would want to rule Hyrule. Now, to answer your other question about which type of villain I gravitate towards more, it's funny, I actually prefer the creepy sociopathic monsters as villains the most. The reason being is because I feel like I can treat them as villains. I love the comedic goofballs so much that sometimes I want to see them win. And the lawfully serious ones are great, but sometimes err to the stale. But the sociopathic monsters have kind of that perfect blend, I think, of like being so outlandishly devious that they're entertaining, but at the same time you want to see them fail. And I think that is a good element of a villain, that you want them to be defeated, because if you make them too sympathetic, you're kind of like, I really wanted the bad guy to win that one, you know? I like being able to feel good about the hero beating the villain, but that's just me. Tale of the Toaster asks, do you watch BattleBots, and if not, when will you catch up? Well, that's presumptuous. I have not seen BattleBots, and I don't know anything about it. So, if you're recommending it, I'll check it out at some time, I guess. Mania 27 asks, assuming you've played, what's your favorite Persona game and why? I feel like I'm having very disappointing answers this time, because I've actually never played a Persona game either. I grew up Nintendo, and there's not a lot of Persona options on Nintendo, if I remember correctly. So, sorry that I'm having all these shallow answers here. I'll answer another one of your questions here, Mania. What series do you think Ruby would make a good crossover with? I think Ruby would make a really good crossover with any other series where the customized weapons with special abilities play a prominent role. The first thing that came to mind for me is if they did like a crossover with Ruby and Soul Eater. I know those are two very different concepts, but I would love to see like Ruby meet Maka and how that all goes out. So, Lord Genesect asks, would you like to have Spoderman as a newcomer to the next Super Smash Bros.? Well, my serious answer is no, because he disqualifies right off the bat for never having been in a video game. But that'd be interesting if someone made like a Smash Bros. Fan game that just had a bunch of meme characters. That'd be pretty funny. Big Boss Man 538 asks, why do you think that PlayStation All-Stars ultimately failed to catch on? I really do think it was because of the gameplay mechanics. The roster was not bad, the concept was not bad, the gameplay was bad. It just had some really bad fighting game mechanics. It's not very fun to play, in my opinion. Admiral N30 asks, what are your thoughts on Gengar being a possible Pokemon rep for Smash Brothers? Anything that's being added from previous generations at this point, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the new Pokemon that are added in Smash Brothers are newer Pokemon now, like Lucario and Greninja when they were added. For them to go back and add older Pokemon characters, I would say is very unlikely. But if we're talking about what I think Gengar would be like in Smash Brothers, I think it'd be awesome. Gengar is a fantastic Pokemon. Tacking on to this question, Stelios78910 adds on, considering Lucario, Pikachu, and Mewtwo are in Pokken, what Pokken characters could you see in Smash Brothers? So to kind of put these two questions together here, for me, personally, my favorite Pokemon is a playable character in Pokken Tournament, which is Sceptile. And I really like the concept of Sceptile in Smash Bros. Because it gives us a grass starter to go with Charizard and Greninja. But I don't think he's any more likely than anyone else in Pokken Tournament to be added in Smash Bros. Simply because he is an older gen Pokemon at this point. That being said, if there was a Pokken character added to Smash Bros., I do think Gengar would be the most likely. The reason being that for them to add another older gen Pokemon at this point, I think it would have to be something very, very fan demanded. And if I remember correctly, that's the entire reason Gengar was added into Pokken Tournament, was because of fan demand. Now, that might only be because there was already like a roster for Pokken Tournament before Gengar was added, I believe. And maybe one of those Pokemon that was added before is even more popular than Gengar. But I think it still gives Gengar a bit of an edge. And Gengar in Pokken Tournament is just so well done. His animations, his moves, he's a really, really well done character. I would actually love to see that in Smash Brothers. Chicken Crispies asks, what do you think about the NX being a console handheld hybrid? I haven't heard that about the NX. I don't know if there's anything but rumors about the NX. But if it truly is a console handheld hybrid, that'd be awesome. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with the NX, but I'm imagining, if that's the rumor, something where, like, I can sit at home and play the console and then just take the handheld portion with me, like, on the road or wherever, and play some of the games that I have handheld. And that sounds really awesome. Like I said, this is all just sounding like rumors and speculation to me, but that sounds fun. Waffles the Apprentice asks, if one of the Team Fortress 2 classes was added to Smash Brothers, which one would you like it to be, and what would their moveset Final Smash be like? I think the poster child of the Team Fortress 2 characters is Heavy. Like, Heavy is used in so much other outside media that I would be surprised if they picked somebody other than Heavy. Obviously, his moveset would include, you know, his weapons, probably lots of punching, obviously heavy weapons. Maybe for his final smash, he could, like, pull out a really, really huge weapon that just, like, has all these, like, guns and rockets and everything coming out of it. Like, this comedically giant, like, fantasy weapon, and then just blasts everywhere. You know, kind of like Pit's Final Smash in the newest Smash Brothers, but, like, I don't know, more direct and just blasting shit everywhere. I think that'd be funny. PSB123 asks, personally, I think it's a bad idea to have DLC veterans from Smash 4 be DLC veterans again in Smash 5. What are your thoughts on this? This is honestly one of the reasons I was worried about Smash DLC in the first place. How many of the characters that we bought as DLC in the first place are going to be DLC again, and we have to buy them again? Is it going to be like, well, I bought Mewtwo for Smash Brothers for Wii U, and now Smash Brothers for NX is out, and I got to buy Mewtwo extra again? I think it's going to be kind of a mess, honestly. I don't know how Nintendo or Sakurai are going to deal with this or figure this out. Maybe they'll have something where it's like, oh, if you bought this character in the previous game, you get it for free in the new game. I have no idea what they're going to work out to make that, you know, as fair as possible. Zenora asks, how likely do you think Vaati would be in a new Zelda Hyrule Warriors game? And while I'm at it, how about Groose? Hyrule Warriors seems like a pretty good medium for both of those characters because it's just a roster of Zelda characters. I could easily see those guys being kind of some of the characters that would be next that we haven't seen in Hyrule Warriors already. While they're at it, why don't they finally add Nabooru? Why is that the only sage, I mean, besides Rauru, that we haven't seen in Hyrule Warriors yet? But, I mean, if the Hyrule Warriors series does continue, like if they add more DLC, or if they make new installments of Hyrule Warriors games, they're going to add more characters, and both of those characters, Vaati and Groose, sound like very good next choices. Bobby Lopez asks, what do you think of Relax Alex's Know Your Moves videos? So once again, on my roll of disappointing answers, I've actually never seen a Relax Alex video. I know of Relax Alex, I know what he does, but I've just never seen him. When he started making videos, it was right around the time that I stopped doing Smash stuff. It was during one of my hiatuses, so I wasn't interested in watching it, and I never got into watching it. He seems like a really cool guy, but I can't answer this question, so I'll answer another one of your questions, Bobby. Have you heard any of Silva Gunner's high-quality rips? If so, what do you think of them? Yes, I have heard Silva Gunner's high-quality rips, and they are brilliant. Ultra Caden asks, have you ever played Heroes of the Storm? No. I'm getting lots of no's today, guys. I'm sorry. So another one of your questions here, Ultra Caden. If you could combine two Smash characters together, who would you combine and what would be the special moves? Okay, if we're talking like combining two Smash characters into like one character, then for seriousness, I would like to see like a Mario Luigi fusion. That's just the two of them together in the style of like Mario and Luigi RPG games, like Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, and you can like switch between them, and they have like different special powers, and they have like brothers moves and stuff like that. If we're talking about literally fusing two characters together, like Dragon Ball Z style, then the first thing that came to mind for some reason was combining Zero Suit Samus and Bayonetta. And that sounds great, doesn't it? And like with lots of weapons, you know, the guns everywhere like Bayonetta has, but they have like stunning properties, and she has the whip that Zero Suit Samus has. Doesn't that sound great? We could call her Samonetta. Perfect. Here's another one from the Smash Master 9000. If Mimikyu was revealed to be a Smash 5 character to represent Gen 7 Pokemon, what kind of moveset would you give it? So Mimikyu, when it comes out, plays exactly like Pikachu. It's just Pikachu. But then, whenever Mimikyu is defeated, whichever character defeated Mimikyu, Mimikyu takes the form of that character and becomes that character, and like has their moveset. So there's my Mimikyu moveset. It's just a copier. Here's another one from Bobby Lopez. Thoughts on the new Sonic games? I'm assuming you're talking about the ones that they showed recently, specifically Sonic Mania, which looks very fun. From what I saw, it's kind of just a twist on the classics, like the classics but with new stuff in it. And I don't think you can go wrong with that. It may not be new or groundbreaking, but it looks fun. If you're talking about newer Sonic games in general, the other things that have been recent have been things like Sonic Boom, which I think there's enough of an opinion on the internet already. It's kind of one of those things that's so bad it's good. It's just comedically bad. And a lot of the newer Sonic games seem to be that way. Here's another one from Big Boss Man 538. If you were to add an enemy from Fire Emblem, Bayonetta, and Final Fantasy to Smash Run, who would they be and what are their attacks? For Fire Emblem, I would say the Faceless from Fire Emblem Fates. So they would just be these big monsters that run around and punch, and they can do charging attacks too. Bayonetta, I've actually not played yet. I'm planning on doing blind LPs of both Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2, so I've been really avoiding Bayonetta stuff, so I can't answer that. Final Fantasy, I would add Cactuar. And what would be is, it would just be this background cactus. You can't even see its face. And so you just think, oh, hey, it's a cactus. And sometimes it really is just a cactus. But then sometimes it'll, like, turn around and, like, jump out of the background and walk all stiffly towards you and then hit you with its needly arms and stuff. So, there's Cactuar. Here's another one from Ultra Caden. What would you think of Taboo as a surprise character? You know, Super Smash Bros. In itself is a big Nintendo series. So if they added a Super Smash Bros. Character to Super Smash Bros., I would not mind, especially if it was Taboo. Because Taboo already had kind of a move set. You'd have to like tone him down so he's not this godlike boss character. But if you tone down his moves and had like references to the attacks that he used as a boss in Subspace Emissary, I actually think Taboo would be a very interesting surprise character. Oh, and that's actually a little bit over time. We almost got through every single question this week, so make sure to send me more questions, and I'll see you next week for the next video. Bye!